Is it always a good idea to just be natural? Hi, I'm Rogero from One Foot in the Door, and today I want to talk about this extremely important concept because it's extremely important because I think a lot of actors misunderstand when it's appropriate to do something and when it's not. Now, what am I talking about? A lot of actors and a lot of acting teachers like to talk about acting as finding the truth of the characters. That's beautiful. That's beautiful, and it is true, It is true. At the same time, we like to think of it in those terms because we don't like to think that we're just playing. We don't like to think that we're just pretending. We like to think that what we do is important. And quite frankly, I believe it is. I believe storytelling is a very important part of the human experience. That's why we do it all the time in many different forms. Filmmaking in particular and acting in particular is an extremely effective way to do this. However, the issue I have with actors who are obsessed about this idea of being natural is the fact that most of the time it leads to understated performances, which are not necessarily wrong, but you need to be careful about them. Now, understated performances have been made extremely famous by some of the greats, and I would like to look especially at Humphrey Bogart.
But I've got a job to do too. Where I'm going, you can't follow. What I've got to do, you can't be any part of. Ilsa, I'm no good at being noble, but it doesn't take much to see that the problems of three little people don't amount to a hill of beans in this crazy world. Someday you'll understand that. Now. He's looking at you, kid.
Humphrey Bogart became huge because of his roles in The Maltese Falcon and Casablanca and all the other ones. And he was doing this so well, this extremely understated performance when he's almost doing nothing, or sometimes you could say he's doing nothing, but it works. And a lot of actors became extremely fascinated with that. And nowadays too, one of the things I hear the most when people comment about acting is, oh, look at that actress, how amazing she is, how amazing is the fact that she can communicate so much with so little. And that's true, that is amazing. It's an absolutely amazing skill to have. However, you also need to remember that those performances that you notice like that are usually the lead performances, are usually the protagonists, or if not, they are characters on which the director puts the attention, okay? But most of the time they are the protagonists. Nowadays, and I've already reviewed some of his performances, I'm thinking Ryan Gosling. He is brilliant at these very understated performances. He's absolutely fantastic at them.
Standard was into some guys in prison for a lot of money. And they were going to hurt you and Benicio if you didn't pay it. He asked me for my help.
But he can do that because he's the lead. A performance that is throughout always very, very understated works if the point of the filmmaking around it, the point of the story, is to let us focus on that one character. So when someone like Ryan Gosling, but again Humphrey Bogart and so many others, give this extremely understated performance throughout, but we go on the journey with them, literally the camera lingers on them so much for so long, it makes us engage with them, and it makes us project onto their face, onto their blank face, what we think the character is feeling. And that, as I've said before, is extremely effective, and it's powerful because it makes us do part of the job, makes us do a lot of the job sometimes, and it works. Problem is, what if you're not the protagonist? What if, as it happens at the beginning of everybody's career, what if you are playing a minor character, someone who only has 2-3 scenes maybe, or 2-3 lines even? What do you do then? This is the issue. A lot of actors think, well, as long as I'm natural and I'm truthful, you know, it will work. My performance will come across as strong and you know, it will be noticed. And no, guys, it will not. Most of the time, if you give an understated performance in a small role, you just disappear. You literally just disappear because the audience doesn't have the time nor the opportunity to focus on you, to project on you what you're feeling and thinking, because you blink and you're gone. So in smaller roles, what you need to do is the opposite, is give a strong and striking performance that will be noticed. And that strong and striking performance is usually not what people do when they say just be natural, find the truth. And here's where Bogey can come and help us, because the amazing thing about Humphrey Bogart is not so much that he gave that understated performance in Casablanca, is what he did before that. Humphrey Bogart, in the first part of his career, he was always cast as the bad guy in extremely over-the-top, crappy roles.
Perhaps I can help you.
I was waiting for Dr. Flake.
What is it you want?
I wanted to speak to him about a blood smear. I'm Dr. Rhodes.
Oh, Dr. Rhodes. How do you do? My name is Kane. I've often heard Flagg speak of you.
Oh, yes?
Yes, he thinks you show great promise, particularly in the study of blood composition.
That's very kind of you.
Yes, I may wish to discuss that subject with you myself someday.
I'd like to, anytime.
He was so good at that stuff that he made a career out of it. He got cast in a lot of movies in roles like that. And then, when the opportunity came to become the lead, the positive, serious lead in a movie where an understated performance would be appropriate, he was able to switch. And he gave a performance in The Maltese Falcon that blew everyone away. And from that point onward, he was cast as the lead, so he could do the other type of performances. Same thing happened for a lot of other actors, guys. They get noticed in smaller roles because they do something unexpected. Because they do something like this.
Here's the first of the day, fellas. To old D.H. Lawrence. Nick, Nick, Nick. Indians.
Jack Nicholson was noticed because of that crazy performance. And then he became Jack Nicholson. Now, obviously, he likes, in general, quite big performances, but he wouldn't have been noticed if he had been just natural. So, this is what I'm saying. If it helps you to think of, finding the truth of the character, to be natural because it makes you actually act better, that's fine. But don't fall into the trap of always going for the most understated choice, because usually the most understated choice is boring, and it only works if the whole story is about that one understated character, because we can focus on that and we can project on the understated performance an amazing journey, an amazing emotional journey that maybe the actor is not fully doing because he's letting us do part of the job, and that's great. But you can only do that if the whole movie is about you. If you're cast as, dude number 3 in one scene of a movie and you have 3 lines, don't do understated performances because you might not even make the final cut. That is literally the point. Because the focus is the lead character, the other characters are there just to fill in their little tiny role, and as soon as they've done that, they will cut back to the lead, unless you do something that is so amazing, so surprising, that the editor himself will want to use your performance because it really spices up the whole movie. So think about that the next time you need to prepare a character. I hope you like this video, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below. This is a very important topic, and as I said, I think it's a very misunderstood one. So do let me know what you think, and I will see you soon. Bye bye.